everybody. Welcome to Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion. I'm Kathy, and welcome to my craft room. I thought today that I would do something a little different. We're not going to craft per se, but I am going to bring you some ideas on storage. I know that storing our craft items and making them easily acceptable to us or accessible is the most important thing, because if you got bukus of craft stuff but you can't find it, or you can't put your hands on it when you need it, or don't know exactly what you have, that can be one of the most challenging things in crafting. So I want to show you how I store my stamps. I know that I get a lot of questions about storage ideas and things like that, so I want to show you how I store my stamps. These little boxes that you pick up, they're photo boxes that you pick up at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, a lot of the different places. They're just little photo boxes like this. I have several of these, and I use these for a lot of my organizing. What I have here is mostly my stamp sets, and I have 3 boxes of these with my 4 by 6 inch stamps, and I leave them open like this so that they're easily accessible, and they're all listed alphabetically. So we'll reach in here. These are all May stamp sets. So let's just reach in here and pull out Happy. Happy's a good thing. I always bring one up like that so I'll know that this one goes back in front of it. But what I do is I cut a piece of just plain white, inexpensive cardstock. I don't use my good stuff for this, but I cut it 7 by 9 and I score it at 4. And this gives me the perfect placement for my stamp sets. I do have a little Brother P-Touch labeler that I use. So I just type in the name of the stamp set, and this one is Happy, and I just peel that off and put it at the top. Now all of my May stamps, I put the title of the stamp set all the way over to the left. Now Tracy's stamp set from Mindless Crafting, I put those to the right. That way I know the difference between my May stamps and my Tracy stamps, and also any other stamps that I might get. I file them separately from my May or my Tracy stamps. I guess I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to my organization, but it's just the way I roll. And we all have our different ways. But this has worked really good for me. I have 3 boxes now of my stamps, and this for me is just a real easy way. I can go through here and I can look for a specific stamp set, pull it out, use it, and usually what I do when I pull it out, like say if I pull this one out, I would put that up like that. Just to make it easy, when I come back, I would just drop that back in and drop it down. This just works for me. Again, I'm not telling anybody that this is the way they have to do it. I'm just making suggestions, and each person has to find what works for them. So today I'm just sharing some of my ideas of how I do it. So hopefully this will help you. This is a huge box here, and this has all of my die cuts, or most of my die cuts. And I have them listed alphabetically in categories. Like this first one here is all of the things that are animals. There's a kitty cat, and there's a cat in the window, there's a little elephant, there's a puppy dog, there's a goldfish, and then I have the puppy dog prints. Now anything else that I get that pertains to any type of animal will go in here. Now animals are separate from birds. I'm weird like that, so I have a separate one for birds and bird cages. So this is my birds and bird cages. So anything that comes in as a bird will go into this one. Anything that is a bird cage will go into this one. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of little frames and things that came with a bird stamp set. So those are my birds, and I think birds are so cute on cards, so I love that. My butterflies are another one, and my birthday dies. I have a huge collection of those. But here's my butterflies, and any of y'all that know me know that I have this thing for butterflies. So I have quite a collection of my little fluttered friends, and these are just my absolute favorites when it comes to my butterflies. Ooh, I dropped something off of one, and that happens real often. I do have them on magnets, but sometimes one of the little flowers or little pieces will come loose. So I just keep a watch on that. And that's another reason why I make a gusset under the bottom of my little fold piece. And I did tab these. You can tab them. You can even just write on the front what they are. Whatever works for you in organizing. The main thing is just to have your stuff organized so that you can find it, and therefore you can use it. Because if you can't find it or have it accessible when you need it, it doesn't do you too much good. So I think what happened, the reason this didn't work is I put it down in birthday. The butterfly goes behind birthday. I have my circles and scallops, and that's in this folder. So anything that is a circle or a scallop circle goes in here. So again, you know, this is just the way I set mine up, which made it easy for me. All my flowers are in one. Musical notes, anything that's sky, sun, and clouds are in one. My ovals are in one. Rectangulars, frames and things like that. The frames and the fancies are sometimes harder to decide where they need to go, so I did these under frames, and that seemed to work for me pretty well. So you just have to kind of figure out what's going to work for you, and just, you know, try to get a system that you understand. Nobody else has to understand this but you. So I'm going to move this back over on the shelf because it is big and bulky and heavy. And then I'm going to show you my embossing folders. Now my embossing folders, I kind of did the same way, but I didn't title them, and I'll show you why. I made these little folders like this, and I have a tab on them, and inside I have I ran this through my Cuddle Bug with the die so that I could see what it looks like without having to open the folder. So whenever I'm looking for a embossing folder, I will go through this box, and this box has gotten way too tight, so I am going to separate these out. I've got several here that need folders made for. These are some of the newer ones that I've gotten recently, and I haven't had a chance to do that, so I usually just stick those to the front of my box like this, and this is a reminder that when you get a chance, make a folder and put these in it. But what I do is I just measure these out, and I believe these are, let me see if I can get a measurement for y'all. These are about 10.5, or actually 11, because I cut the tab on them. So they're 11.5 this way by 7.25 this way. So 7.25 by 11, and then that gives you the opportunity to make your tab. My intentions when I made the tabs on them that I was going to title what they were, but you all know that once you throw your little outer cover away, you're not really going to know the exact title of them. So you don't really have to do this. I had just gotten my tab punch board and I love to play with it. So that was probably one of the reasons why I did that. But nevertheless, this is the way I store these. One of the other things that I use, I have 3 tiers, and I'm not going to bring them all over, for my Stickles. And I got these from scrapbook.com. And these hold your stickles in a downward, these little tops lift off and they stack. I have 3 tiers of these, and it makes it so nice that your stickles are always facing down. There's my favorite diamond stickles. Everybody knows I love the diamonds. You can put that on any color of cardstock and it's going to pick up the color that you're using. So a lot of times if you can't afford but 1 bottle of stickles, get yourself a bottle of diamonds. They are wonderful. And I do like some sparkles, so I do love my stickles. These little containers were, I think, like $7, maybe 6 something. I can't remember now because I've had them for a little bit. But they are wonderful for stacking my stickles right here on my work table or my desk. I guess you could call it my desk, but I like them right here close by so that I can grab them. The other thing that I store is my alcohol markers. Now I made a beautiful alcohol marker decorative thing. I ended up tearing it apart because my markers set upright. If you have alcohol markers, they need to sit vertically. But vertical with these slick markers, they seem to slide out the front. So I have this little gadget that I bought from Amazon, and I bought it for my cell phone. I literally sit it down like this, and I set my marker box, and all I did was I made 3 separate boxes. I taped them together with packaging tape. I do want to decorate this, but just not quite yet. I know that Nuvo will probably come out with some more colors. They have added colors since I got my first ones, but as they do add colors, I can build this. As you can see, I have enough of space here for 2 more sets, and all I have to do when I get ready, if I get more markers, is make another box with these little inserts, and these are basically just little pieces of cardstock that I cut and made little cylinders out of. And I'm going to set that down like that so I can push this back in. And then I just fit them into this little box. And each one of these holds 24 markers. So I set it like this over to the side of my desk. And it really doesn't matter whether it's decorated or not, because this is what I need. This works for me. I don't care at this point whether it's pretty. Eventually I'll put some pretty paper on it, maybe wrap a bow or something around it. But for right now, this is functional, and I love it because it gives me a place. I'm going to leave it right here because I need to lift it over top of some other stuff, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. But I wanted to make this kind of a quick video just to show you some ways that I store my my items. The other thing that I do, and I made this also, is my VersaFine Clair inks. I love those colored inks because they stamp so good, and if you're a VersaFine fan, you will love this. Now this sits up like this, but it sits, I am going to have to move this so I can show y'all this. Let's just set that right there. I'll put that under it in a minute. But this sits up like this, and I just made a pretty little cover to go on the top of it. I usually have stuff sitting on top. I have a shelf right here that I actually slide my VersaFine ink in. I have this Finesse by Spectrum Noir that I put in right there, and a lot of times my tuxedo black will go right there. And I've got my colors marked, so anytime that I need a color, I can just go in and pull that out, use it, and put it back where it belonged. And that works for me. And again, these little inserts, I made these little inserts, and I made shelves for them to live on. So that was just something that I did one day when I had the need for a place to put my inks. So again, that's some of my, I guess, homemade organization. Some of it's homemade, some of it's semi-homemade, but that's how I store my stuff. And I really do enjoy doing it that way. The other thing is, y'all watched me make this box. And I did not let this is the box that I made, and there is a video for it if you'd like to see it. I will link it. But I made this little cute box, and in here I keep my Tim Holtz inks. Eventually I'll probably make a thing for that, but my Tim Holtz ink sits over. These are my Distress inks and Distress oxides, and I usually just have them sitting over here to the side where I can reach in there and get them. And I have another box. Let me move my stamp blocks out of my way. This other box, this was the box that I made, the first one, to kind of get a guideline on how to make these boxes. And I thought this one turned out really pretty. And inside this one is my all of my embossing. Little powder pillow, all of my embossing powders, and my Versamark ink that we use with our embossing. I also have some of my Nuvo glitter paste in here as well, but most of my embossing powders are the Nuvo. I really like Nuvo's products. They work very well. They're a good price point, and that's the reason I like them. But that was another little situation that I made these boxes and had a need to put them up. While I have these blocks out, I'm going to show you these. I have 2 sets. These are my favorite stamp blocks because for some reason if I use a block like this, I will stick my fingers in the ink, and then I end up with ink on this part of my fingers, and then I get it on my card when I stamp. I like these because they have this little lip, and I can actually put my stamp on that and touch it into the ink without getting my fingers inked up. So I did invest in another set of these because when I am videoing, a lot of times I like to not have to stop and change my stamp. I like to be able just to have my stamps loaded up for y'all and be able to move as fast as I can through the process. So that's the reason I have those. I have some of the other ones all over here also, and of course I have my Misty, the small and the regular size one. But that is pretty much what I wanted to bring you this morning and show you how I store some of my crafting supplies and how this works for me. I hope that this will help you in your process of organizing your craft room. And this might not be your cup of tea, but maybe you will get an idea from something that I showed you that will spark something inside of you to organize your craft supplies. So if you do, or you have some ideas, please be sure to share them below this video in the comments. If you are watching for the first time and you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you can be notified when I put a video up. And your support and your love means so much to me, and I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you for tuning in, for listening, for hopefully learning, but for most of all for being my friend. Thank you so much, and God bless, and be an encouragement to someone today. I know I always say this, but it is so important to be encouraging to even a stranger. You don't know what your smile or your "Hi, I hope you're having a good day" can mean to them. So be an inspiration to someone today and tell them you love them. Hold them close to you, and just remember that Jesus loves you, and so do I. Take care until we meet again. This is Kathy from Random Acts of Crafting. Bye-bye.